now, but he struggles to get it out of the pack. Comes off a boot finally. That's Edwards who puts it inside the forward 50. Bit of a socker, goes to ground. It's almost picked up in one swoop by Jesse Moore, but he's unlucky. He's curtailed in his efforts, and the player who curtailed him was Simpson and Kobe Simpson. He ensures that he doesn't go too far, and the umpire will throw the ball up. In the shadows of the goals, once again for Railways, even though there's no shadows here this afternoon. Clouds across on top of us at the moment. The ball coming out of defence now for Chapman Valley. Nice big kick into the half-forward area. If they can run onto something here. Got a few players running onto it, but it is almost a dead heat race as both Chapman Valley and Railways run into that passage of play. Chapman Valley have another bite of the cherries. They kick. I should say very clever. Probably not a will of the wisp. Comes off hands and spills over the boundary once again. So at the moment.
Okay. Railways. Valley are 1 goal straight, so not a lot in it at the moment. 1 point ball game. As the boundary umpire puts the ball back into play as we head towards time on in this first term. It's on goal. Across the face of goal. Ball still in play. Luck's a fortune for Railways. The Railways defence gets the ball out of trouble now. Railways with the ball. Short pass. Oh, awkward kick there from the Railways player. Put his teammate under pressure. The player gets the ball. Kicks it to and that's Drew. Another hard-working defender there, and Jordan Williamson. Williamson gets it up along the ground and finds a teammate, and that teammate is Huggins. Looking for some movement, goes across the ground, back towards Tunbridge. So Tunbridge has the ball. Tunbridge with the ball on half-back. So both clubs playing around with the ball a little bit this afternoon, but it's a possession game in these tough conditions. A very strong mark. Umpire says, yes, you marked it. And good mark there to the Railways big fella. And there may have been a MJ McConnell. He kicks it forward and he's picked out a teammate who's taken a good mark. This time it's Huggins. Huggins with the ball in the centre of the ground. Plays on now. Under pressure. Gets it towards Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders marks. So Ben Saunders has the ball on half forward. Goes forward with a kick and has found a player all on his own. And that player is Elijah Burrows.
Elijah Burrows, he's got a kick from just inside the forward 50, directly in front of the goals at the Shenton Street end. Huggins hard to pick up these days, Glenn, because he's not wearing his customary number 11. I think
that's
Zane
right.
Marwick must have a lot of pull in the Railways camp, because Huggins has wore that number 11 Guernsey for a number of years, now wearing number 12.
Yeah, I think he might have just came back though, Jamie Huggins. I don't know if he's played a lot of
Perhaps that's the reason why,
Yeah, because Railways have brought a few blokes in the last 3 or 4 weeks. They've been rotating the board.
So ball in defence now.
Oh, no, free
forward.
kick.
No, free kick up front, and it's Tunbridge who has the ball, usually playing in defence. That's what threw me on that occasion, Glenn. Kurt Tunbridge is going to have a shot on goal. He's on a more than a 45-degree angle, kicking toward the Shenton Street end. The quarter-time siren sounds, so we'll wait to see what happens here, and Railways will definitely go in front at quarter-time, regardless of this score. Tunbridge does well. He kicks straight through the middle. Kurt Tunbridge scores his first goal of the afternoon. That is the second for Railways. And at quarter time, they are 2-1. And they lead Chapman Valley just the 1 goal. You're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Quarter time at the football, GNFL footy on Radio Mama with Glenn Barnard, Peter Forenza and Peter Keefe as we look at quarter time scores here. And Railways 2-1-13 lead Chapman Valley 1 goal straight, 7 points the margin. For Chapman Valley, Tyron Papertalk has one. For Railways, Elliot Delaney and Kurt Tunbridge have one apiece. Our quarter time summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. Peter Keefe, you saw the first quarter. What did you take from it?
Well, you've got one and a half the ground that's got very little water on it, Glenn, and then the northern half the ground's got puddles all over it. So I guess the scoring end you'd suggest is the southern end. Best player so far, Drew Tunbridge holding sway in the back line. Burrows, Elijah's been very good. Adamini has been good. And Saunders for Chapman Valley, Schofield's been good. Oakley Criddle, who I like, is well bred. Robinson and Jay O'Brien.
Okay, we're about to get this second term underway for Melissa Price, the member for Geraldton. And the whistle has blown, and the free kick will go the way of Chapman Valley. Railways player infringed. The Railways player that got in the road there was Elijah Burrows. He went into the square too early. Ball comes up towards half forward, goes the way of the half back for Railways, who get it out of trouble. And the kick goes forward there from Sam Scully, gets it out wide, picks it out to Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders with the ball on half back. Kicks it up towards centre wing, looking there for some movement. Chapman will have 2-on-1, and Chapman Valley through Kobe Simpson has the ball. Kobe Simpson is tackled high. So Simpson with the ball on centre wing, Francis Street side. Kicks it up towards half forward. Looking up there for some movement, the Railways player in Jordan Williamson slaps the ball forward and puts the ball across the boundary line. Looking at scores in other games today, looking at quarter time at Mullawar. Brigade's got away to a good start. Brigade's a 7-8-50. Mullawar a no score, and there's not a drop of wind out there at Mullawar like it is here. Pretty quiet in the wind department, but still a little bit of rain around as the ball goes out of bounds once again, and the boundary umpire will come in and throw the ball into play.
Scores haven't altered since quarter time. 2-1-13 plays one straight goal, and it is Railways that lead the way here at the recreation ground. Ball coming in now. Player setting himself. Chapman Valley player pulled out of the way, but the umpire said nothing in that. The ball going back the way now of Railways. Player spun around as well. So it's going. The treatment for both teams is the same as Boyle gets it now for the Blues. He puts it onto his boot into the half-forward area. Player running out to try and collect it. That's Tunbridge. He's quickly knocked to ground. The ball going back the way of the Railways boot, and player curtailed in his efforts. It looks like it's Schofield that will come out of this passage of play. Jaden Schofield, not a great kick. Couldn't find the tended target. The opposition player came in and ensured that it was ricocheted off him. And I think that was Marwick that it came off, and it goes over the boundary in front of the scoreboard. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Melissa listens in on a regular basis. So good afternoon to you, Melissa, and Brad, who also loves his footy. The ball going forward now for Chapman Valley. Can they get another score on the board early? One would think they need to set the tone to get back into this match again. Although they're not out of it, but it seems that the flow of play is well and truly with Railways.
Ball to be thrown back into play, and there's been a fair bit of work for the boundary umpires on that Francis Street side. At least the condition of the ground is pretty good over that side of the ground. Ball comes back into play. Chapman Valley player was held while not in holding the ball. That's the big ruckman in Borgono. Borgono with the ball. Daniel sends the ball forward, looking for a teammate, but nobody home for Chapman Valley. Good mark taken by the Railways defence. Once again, it's Sam Scully who stands his ground. Scully goes out wide. This time he's gone out a bit too wide. Ball goes out of bounds on the full. So Chapman Valley to get the ball back into play. Chapman Valley with the ball through Ewan Whiteley. Whiteley gets a big kick up towards half forward. Looking up there for Paper Talk. Ball carries that player. Goes the way of the Railways player in Ruben Ulrich, who sees the ball across the boundary line. Once again, the boundary umpire will come and throw the ball in. So the ball is out of bounds on the Francis Street side, about 40 metres around from the left point post. So Chapman Valley have the ball in their forward 50 again. Can they get a score on the board? There's about 8 or 10 players from each club around the ball. Whistle on play. Umpire will come in. Umpire Darren Bryce will come in and throw the ball up. And he will throw the ball up just on the edge of the 50-metre circle. Ball up again, and there's players all around the ball again. Ball comes out, goes the way of Chapman Valley's Lee Hutchins. He gets a handball forward, picked up by the Railways player in Ben Saunders, and he kicked the ball out of bounds. A bit of pushing and shoving, and the umpire almost walks into it. So Railways player there, and Liam Clarkson getting involved there with Borgioni. Ball comes forward. Ball slapped to forward. Goes the way of Kane Simpson. Kane Simpson goes to pick the ball up and has the ball held to him, and he was tackled high, was Kane Simpson. So Kane Simpson will shoot on goal from 35 metres. So Kane Simpson is a good young player. There's no doubt about that. Very courageous young player. So Kane Simpson, can he get a much-needed goal for his side and narrow the margin? It's 7 points at the moment. So Kane Simpson kicked a couple of goals last week against Northampton and was one of Chapman Valley's better players. There goes Kane Simpson's kick. It'll drop short. Pack into the air. Ball goes off hands. 1 point only. And on the scoreboard for GBSC in this second term, it is Railways. 2 goals, 1. They lead Chapman Valley 1-1. And you're on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack.
Coming out of defence from Williamson now. He runs and kicks it to the outer side, the Francis Street side of the ground. A beautiful mark is taken out there. On this occasion, it's taken by Elliot Delaney. Elliot Delaney, in fact, it's not Delaney, it's Adamini that took the mark. Him and Delaney both wearing the long sleeves. Into the half-forward area goes that kick. Into a host of players, a 50-50 ball as it goes to ground. Railways at the bottom of the pack, but no opportunity for anyone on that passage to play, and the ball be thrown up once again. Close to the boundary on the Francis Street side. So the umpire calling for the ball to come in. Maybe getting some more rain before this game is out this afternoon. The ball going the way now of Marwick. Marwick over to a teammate who quickly puts it onto his boot. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Up goes the defender.
Mark,
took
almost.
A beautiful mark. Wasn't paid. But goes away of Chapman Valley as it should. Goes back to the outer side toward the boundary and over the white line. So this game is an interesting one, Glenn.
It certainly is. As we see the player there in the number 11, who we keep thinking is Jamie Huggins. It's Zane Marwick with the ball. He gets it in and goes the way of the player there,
the
Schofield.
man who almost took the mark before was Schofield, Glenn, so that answers our questions.
Yeah. So Schofield with the ball goes the way of Brett Robinson. Brett Robinson runs off half-back, kicks it towards centre wing, where he finds Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson feeds it out to brother Kane Simpson. Kane Simpson, beautiful kick up towards Jay Colgate. Colgate couldn't hold the ball, but picked up now by Paper Talk. Gets it over to Hutchins. Hutchins shoots on goal. Ball runs away to the points post, and a minus score results. And on the scoreboard for GBSC in the second quarter, Chapman Valley go to 1-2-8. They trail Railways 2-1-13.
Ball back with this player Williamson. He's almost taped up like an Egyptian mummy. The ball coming out of defence now. Goes away with that player in Skelly. He's unable to collect it. Sam Skelly, of course, playing, I think, in the Ballarat League of late. Over there in Victoria, back in WA now. Bringing his family home. The ball going forward again now for Chapman Valley inside the corridor. The youngster in Cody Giltro goes in to try and collect it. He's brought to ground. He tries to put on a tackle, almost pulls off the Guernsey of one Paper Talk. There's a bit of a push and shove, as you can see. And crowd's getting involved as well, and a free kick will go the way of Railways. A 50-metre penalty going the way of Saunders. He's wasting no time. Paper Talk still staying involved in the to-do there, but this brings the ball right down the ground. So the ball into the half-forward area. Up goes that player, in Tubby, and takes a mark. The dual Clune medalist shouldn't be playing football in his opinion. He's come back from retirement. He kicks it into the half-forward area, misses the intended target, but there's a few ponds around.
There for Paper Talk. Paper Talk very close to the boundary line. Couldn't keep the ball in, and the ball goes out of play. And that is young Lenny Paper Talk, who's back in the Chapman Valley League side this afternoon to match up with his brother Tyron, who kicked 7 goals last week against Northampton. Boundary umpire to put the ball back into play just in front of our Radio Mama broadcast box here. Quarter number 2. Low-scoring contest. Ball comes back into play. Goes the way of Railways. Picked up by Williamson. Williamson puts it on his boot. Kicks it up towards half forward. Ball running free. An opportunity now if Railways can put a handle on it. But they couldn't. Oakley Criddle can. Beautiful bit of play. Clears the ball and finds a teammate. That teammate is Colgate. Colgate gets it out wide, looking for the hard-running Jaden Schofield. Schofield grabs the ball, 60 metres from goal, kicks it towards Tyrone Paper Talk, and Paper Talk is marked 50 metres out on a 45-degree angle. So Tyrone Paper Talk on the end of a good bit of play there from Chapman Valley. Started with Criddle, went the way of Schofield, and finished off. If he can kick this goal, Tyrone Paper Talk, a good 45 metres out, 50 metres out when he kicks it. There goes the kick. Ball drops short. Almost a good mark to Lee Hutchins. Hutchins couldn't put a handle on it. Ball goes to ground and a whistle on play. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up just in the teeth of goal. So Chapman Valley peppering away. They've kicked 2 points in this quarter and they've been peppering away but haven't been able to get a major on the board. Picked up by Railways. They clear the ball now, but only as far as the Railways player who runs away from Thompson. That's Elijah Burrows. Burrows puts it on his left boot. Out goes Tommy Walker. Puts a good punch into the ball. Sees the ball across the boundary line once again. This second term on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack.
2-1 plays 1-2. It is Railways who have the lead here at the recreation ground. The second term going to Marwick now for Railways. He sends it into the half.
So Elliott has got his second goal of the afternoon, and Railway stole the march on the GBSC Sports scoreboard. It is 3-1 to 1-2, and Delaney gets Railway's first goal of this second term, the first goal of the second term.
Yeah, they certainly have got the run of the green at the moment. The rub of the green, I should say, do Railways, and they're holding sway here in our Drennan O'Malley game day. Nice passage of play there. 2 players teaming up in both Delaney and Adamini. Delaney finishing off with a fine goal. Ball coming out of the middle now, trying to run onto it. A few players, and one of those is Peter Kimberley. He eventually gets the ball and puts it into space. Bunter runs onto it, wearing the helmet. Bunter goes backwards before he goes forward. There's Adamini again. He sends it inboard and finds the big ruckman who took a beautiful mark in Michael McConnell. McConnell now sends it into the half-forward area. The ball won't travel too far. Marshy ground that we're playing on here this afternoon. A lot of rain falling before the match. Goes one way, then the other. Elijah Burrows has it. Going back the way now. This player in Jesse Moore is quickly gathered up, though, is Moore. Was at 6 and 7s and is caught for holding the ball. So the ball going the way now of Thompson. Player. We're talking about Jaden Schofield. He sends it down the ground. They've got it again in Thompson. Must have heard me talking about him earlier, Glenn, because he started to up the ante somewhat as Thompson. He sends it into the half-forward area, goes over the head of Colgate, but back to Railways now. Kimberley. He's looking for Adamini. He couldn't scrape it up on that occasion, but he's able to gather himself to Adamini. Goes back the way of the other Kimberley. It's 2 Kimberleys out there today. It's going to make it tough here, Glenn, as the ball goes into the inside the forward 50, players diving on top of each other. No one can get purchase of the ball, and the ball will be thrown up once again. So Chapman Valley at the moment, Glenn, desperate to get another score on the board.
Yes, they've had similar scoring shots and scoring opportunities, but Railway's been very efficient around goal, getting the score on the board. Railway's player didn't have prior opportunities. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up just on the 50-metre line. Umpire Miguel puts the ball into the air. Ball comes to ground. Once again, it goes the way of the big ruckman for Chapman Valley. Couldn't get boot to ball. Railways players jump on it once again. And once again, the umpire has no option to come and throw the ball up. So 13 minutes gone in this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. It is round 16 of GNFL football this afternoon, with thanks to Medak, Railways player Jesse Adamini has the ball held to him. So it is very tough out there. There's not much room for players. There's about 8 or 10 players around the ball every time. The ball gets thrown up, goes the way now of the player in Thompson. Thompson was held while not in possession, so Jaden Thompson will take the free kick in the centre half forward position, just backward of centre. There goes Thompson's big kick up towards full forward, looking up there for the player in Paper Talk. Ball slapped away from him. Chapman Valley's Jay O'Brien goes in, gets it back towards Paper Talk. Paper Talk couldn't pick it up, goes back towards O'Brien. Ball running free, goes the way of Paper Talk. He gets the ball forward, but only as far as the Railways player who didn't get boot to ball. Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt, and the umpire will come in and throw the ball up at the 35-metre mark in this southern end of Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground.
The ball inside the foot 50. It's been here for a little while for Chapman Valley. Are they getting value for effort? They needed to pay dividends somewhat. Paper Talk is being curtailed in his efforts at the moment. The ball thrown up, going to ground. It's picked up by the Chapman Valley player who puts it onto his boot, but he's curtailed in his efforts. Goes inside the corridor, but it is Kimberley who gets the ball, spins around, but almost puts it down the throat of a Chapman Valley opponent, but the ball is back with Railways, luckily enough. This player's getting a lot of the ball this afternoon. I'm talking about Burrows. As the buzz goes around the crowd, he gets it out now to Tunbridge. Tunbridge in turn eventually gets it on to Kimberley. Kimberley to Kimberley. That's a call, a cracker to cracker. And Kimberley again, he gets it back to Burrows. Kimberley in the middle of the ground finds Adamini. So that's a nice mark. Railways certainly holding sway again at the moment, Glenn.
Gets it out looking for Blake Bunter. Bunter is all on his Pat Malone on the outer side. He's got one player to beat. He beats that player, then he goes back and gets the left foot kick. Goes up towards the centre wing where he finds the player there, Nathan Tubby. Tubby gets the ball up the ground, looking for a teammate. The Chapman Valley player overruns the ball, so Chapman Valley can get the ball further forward, and they do, and they get it up towards half forward. And Railways go deep into an attack again, and a good mark taken there by the Railways player in Elliot Delaney. Delaney's already kicked a couple of goals, but he has the ball again, deep in the pocket. Won't see a lot of daylight from there, but he's a very clever player, is Elliot. So Elliot Delaney shooting on goal in this second term. 16 and a half minutes gone. Elliot Delaney, he's got two, goes with a short pass. Puts his teammate under pressure. Ball goes to ground. Goes the way now of the Chapman Valley defender, trying to slap the ball forward. Railways under pressure, get to the way of... It may not have been Tunbridge, it was...
Yeah. Oh, hang on. That was
Zane Marwick.
Marwick.
Zane Marwick on that occasion.
I was just thinking Glenn Marwick did a lot of work on that far side to get the ball into that area earlier on. So he certainly is a fine for Railways.
Well, he's won two great Southern medals, so he's a very useful player. So he got his first of the afternoon, and Railways get their fourth and starting to stretch on the scoreboard now for GBSC. It is Railways. 4 goals, 1, 25. They lead Chapman Valley 1 goal, 2, 8. And Railways in these conditions to be 3 goals up, doing it very well.
Be listening at half-time to get a summary of the first half from Peter Bucket Keefe. He's been watching this game with quite bit of interest this afternoon. Chapman Valley at the moment trailing in this game against Railways. One tipsters would have them expecting to win this afternoon. But Railways have other ideas at this point. The ball back in the middle. Marwick, one of those players, scoring the last goal for the Blues. Didn't start the season all that well, did the Railway Football Club. They certainly have atoned for that in recent weeks, winning successive matches. The ball on the halfback line now for Chapman Valley. This player needs to step it up. That's Brett Robinson. He's been a key to their success so far this season, but that kick down the line wasn't a good one. It goes straight down the throat of a Railways player, but luckily enough, Chapman Valley get back onto it. It comes down the wing now. Can they set something up and get another goal on the board as it goes away with Maverick? Maverick now takes it toward the boundary. Players take it over. He's with young Giltro. That's Cody Giltro. They both go over the line. The ball about to be thrown in. Not far from our broadcast position for Radio Mama. Time ticking away in the first half. Players setting themselves. Bottom of the pack, it goes away of Williamson there. He tries to do something with it, but it's curtailed in his efforts. And this player dives on top of the ball. Doesn't go too far, and the umpire says, give it to me, boys, and we'll throw it up once again.
So umpire Miguel puts the ball into the air. And in fact, it's umpire Bryce who gets the ball up in the air, comes back towards Tunbridge. He gets it out towards Maverick. Maverick can't control the ball. Picked up by the Railways defender. Slams the boot to ball. Comes back towards Mitch Thompson. Mitch Thompson kicks it forward again. Looking up there for some movement from his forwards. But the Railways defender's doing well. Railways defender was interfered with. Free kick will go the way of the Blues defence. And the Railways player with the ball is Sam Scully. So Sam Scully with the ball in the back pocket. Plays on. Gets it to the player there in Marwick. Zane Marwick with the ball. Very good cricketer as well is Marwick. Hasn't played a lot of footy in Geraldton in recent years. Gets the ball forward. Comes the way of the player there in Daniel Borgoni, who slaps the ball across the boundary line. Liam Clarkson putting good pressure on Borgono. So the ball will be come back in. Another boundary throw-in. Time ticking by in this second term. We're into time on in the second quarter with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Jurek. On Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Glenn Barnett, Peter Forenza and Peter Keefe keeping you across all the action this afternoon. Balls with Lee Hutchins. Lee Hutchins for Chapman Valley. Gets the kick forward. Up towards the teeth of goals. Looking up there for Paper Talk. Ball slapped away from him, goes the way of the player there at Giltro. Giltro throws the ball across the front of goals, but he's picked out Kane Simpson. But Kane Simpson took too long to pick it up on that occasion. And we see Railways clear through the agency of Nathan Tubby. Tubby gets it back in towards the centre. Goes the way of Mitchell Boyle. He couldn't control the ball. Schofield can. Schofield breaks the tackle. Throws the boot to ball. Goes forward. Ball comes back towards Brett Robinson. Robinson kicks it towards half forward and finds Tunbridge. And Tunbridge is a very clever, not Tunbridge, it is the teammate there for Chapman Valley, Paper Talk.
One-handed mark.
Yes, a very, very clever player from Paper Talk.
He was being held and he marked very strongly.
He did very well indeed. So here he goes. Can he get his second goal of the afternoon? Tyron Paper Talk, shooting on goal. Chapman Valley needed is an understatement. So there goes the kick. He's offline, 1 point only. In fact, that may have been Lenny, not Tyron. It was, so Lenny Paper Talk on that occasion got a minus score.
Ball coming out of defence now. It is 21 minutes gone in this second term, thanks to Melissa Price, a member for Durack. A good mark now is taken by the player there for Ewan Whiteley now. He sends it further afield and finds this player who needs to come in on the game and do something well, and he will. I'm talking about Lee Hutchins. Lee Hutchins is a good kick of the ball, and at this distance won't test him at all. But the angle, perhaps. But Lee Hutchins. To say this, they need this goal is a bit of an understatement. It's a nice kick by Lee Hutchins. He doesn't miss too many, and he doesn't on this occasion either. That's another goal by the number 2, and an important goal for Chapman Valley.
22 minutes gone, a very important goal there, and on the scoreboard for GBSC Sports. It is GBSC, I should say, and we can see that Railways still hold sway. They are 4 goals 1, leading Chapman Valley 2 goals 3 as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. At quarter time at WA Country Builders Stadium, Towns 3-2-20, lead Rovers 2 goals 1, 13. And up there at Mullewar's last home game of the year and Mullewar's last game of the year, it is Brigades doing it well. Brigades 7-8-50. Mullawar no score, so good game for Brigades to get some percentage, it would appear. Here at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, 25 plays 15 in favour of the Blues. Railways, the ball comes back into play, slap forward, goes the way of player there in Tubby, but it's picked up by Hutchins. Hutchins gets it forward, looking for some movement. In goes the Railways defender, slaps the ball forward, comes back to a Railways player, feeds it out, looking there for Williamson. Williamson can't control the ball, comes back towards the player there, and a whistle on play. Play on's the call now. Goes the way of Ben Saunders, and Saunders kicks the ball up towards centre wing. And at full time in this second quarter, we're at half time in the footy. It is an interesting scoreline. Railways are 4 goals 1. Chapman Valley are 2 goals 3. So 4-1-25 plays 2-3-15. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Anyone want a cool drink or something?
No. Good, mate.
Thanks,
What would you like? What about you, mate?
Well, GNFL football, it's a very interesting day at the footy, and at half time we can tell you that it's a scoreline which is very interesting indeed. Railways 4-1-25, Chapman Valley 2-3-15, and at half time summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. First half, how'd you see it, Peter Keefe?
Yeah, well, Glenn, it's holding up, isn't it? There's some overhead marks. There's some clean ball use. It's not like I thought it'd be horrendous today, but it's actually not too bad. Best players on the ground: Adamini and Schofield from opposing sides, 12 each. Adamini's been very good for both quarters, and so is Schofield. Good receiver and uses the ball really well. Adamini, Burrows, Drew Tunbridge, Zane Marwick, who's looks like quite a good player. Ben Saunders for Chapman Valley, Schofield, Robinson, Oakley, Criddle, who I like. Bo Simpson and Lee Hutchins. And looking at the goal scorers for till half time, Elliot Delaney has 2, Kurt Tunbridge and Zane Marwick 1 apiece, while for Chapman Valley, Tyron Papertalk has 1, and another goal who I just don't recall who kicked that one at the minute, but it's 4 goals to 2 here in favour of Railways. Ball back in the centre, and the umpire this afternoon, Darren Bryce, Dale Pearce and Cody Miguel. The umpire Price puts the ball into the air. Ball comes to the ground, goes the way of Adamini. In goes the player there in Mitchell Boyle. He gets it out towards the player in Elijah Burrows. Burrows kicks it up towards the half forward, but goes only as far as Bo Simpson. He goes the way of Mitch Thompson. Thompson gets it forward, looking there for a teammate. Overruns the ball, does the player there in Sorensen. Ball comes back towards the Railways player, comes back towards the player there, picked up now by Mitchell Boyle. He kicks it up towards the teeth of goals, and he finds a teammate, Railways player there, in Zane Marwick. He centres the ball and finds Elliot Delaney. Delaney has the ball, and he's 50 metres out directly in front, and has an opportunity to kick his 3rd goal of the afternoon. Elliot Delaney with the ball this 3rd quarter, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. On Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy, Glenn Barndon, Peter Firenza and Peter Bucket Keefe, keeping you across round 16 of GNFL footy with Medak this afternoon. Ball slapped forward, ball goes out of bounds, and there'll be a boundary throw-in right on the point post at the southern end of the ground. 25 plays, 15 in favour of the Blues.
I think Lee Hutchins was the other goal scorer for the Royals, Glenn. A good goal it was. Ball coming in now, players setting themselves in the forward area now for Railways. They hold sway by 10 points at half-time, and they're holding that so far in the early stages of the 3rd term. This quarter brought to you by Drennan O'Malley Motors. Hello to Ron, John, Rachel and all the team at Drennan O'Malley. Saw Melody, the lovely matriarch of the family, at lunch today, and bought my hamburger from Melody and Glenn's Lollies, so they're very happy here at the Rec. The ball coming back the way of Railways now. They can set something up too easy as that player in Marwick takes another mark. He is certainly a player of note, but actually the player that took the mark was Shaden Edwards. So Shaden Edwards now will have a shot on goal. He's on a slight angle, kicking toward the Shenton Street end. Shaden Edwards. The goal here would be interesting to say the least. Railways have commanded this game for much of it. He certainly doesn't waste an opportunity there, and Edwards scores the 5th goal of the afternoon for Railways. That sees them go to 5 goals 1, and they lead their opponents, Chapman Valley, 2 goals 3. Yeah, a very handy lead once again by Railways. Railways getting the 1st goal of this 3rd term, the Premiership quarter, the Drennan O'Malley Motors quarter, as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. And half-time out there at WA Country Builders Stadium. Towns 7 goals 5, 47 lead their opponents, Rovers 2 goals 2-14. So a good start to the game for the Bulldogs. The other game, we've already mentioned it, up at Mullawar. And at half-time, Brigades at 12-13-85. Mullawar are yet to score. Ball back in the centre in this 3rd term. 3 minutes gone. Umpire Miguel to put the ball into the air. The ruckman doing the business. MJ McConnell for Railways. Daniel Borgona for Chapman Valley. Ball comes to ground, goes the way of Mitchell Boyle. Mitchell gets the ball up towards half forward, looking up there for Tunbridge, but Jaden Schofield grabs the ball, gives it back towards Mitch Thompson, back towards Schofield. Schofield kicks it forward, and a good mark taken there by Paul Sorensen. Sorensen plays on quickly, puts it up towards the player there in Colgate.
Colgate has the ball. He's 58 metres out from goal. Towards full forward. Looking up there for the player in Paper Talk. Paper Talk under a bit of pressure. Sees the ball towards the boundary line. Railway's defence do well. Or do they? They grab the ball, but the ball was out of bounds already. So the ball will come back, and the boundary umpire will throw the ball in about 25 metres around from the left point post. And Chapman Valley need the next goal to keep in contact because the game could slip away. They've had 5 scoring shots, Chapman Valley. Railways have had 6, but Railways have kicked 5 goals, 1. That's the difference.
Certainly is, but a bit more accuracy, a bit more fluency in their passages of play as Chapman Valley endeavour to get it toward or inside their forward 50. It's just in there, if that. The ball will be thrown up again. It is a very wet end of the ground, the Augusta Street end here at the recreation ground. A lot of puddles, big puddles, almost lakes here this afternoon. Up they go. It's knocked down by MJ Connell. McConnell locks it to ground. Adamini at the base of the pack tries to collect it. He too is collected in doing so. Gee, a bit of a push and shove. It's pretty tight in there at the moment, and the ball eventually comes free off a Chapman Valley handball. Goes away with Sorensen. He spins around, puts it toward the big sticks, but misses all and sundry. And bounces, I think, just before the white line. No, it's out on the full, I think.
No, out of bounds.
Just out of bounds. Glenn made sure of that. Sorensen knows what he's doing. The ball is about to be thrown in now. Deep attack now for Chapman Valley. Desperate to get another score on the board. In it comes. Goes to ground. Player didn't know what to do with it at 6 and 7. Scored in possession. And a free kick will go the way of Railways.
So the ball comes out. There goes the way of MJ McConnell. Gets it back towards a teammate there in Williams. He gets it ball up the ground. Goes the way of Jesse Adamini. Waits for a player to run past and retrieve the ball. That's Elijah Burrows. Burrows kicks forward, but only as far as Schofield. Schofield kicks it back out towards centre wing. Kimberley goes across the top, slaps the ball towards the boundary line. Ball goes out of bounds. And there'll be a boundary throw-in on the outer side of Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground. Early stages of this third term, 6 minutes gone, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. Boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. All the players on both sides. And kicks it back out, looking out there for Borgono. Borgono couldn't mark the ball. Ball goes out of bounds. There'll be another boundary throw-in on the outer side of Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground.
The Railway side has changed a lot since the beginning of the season, Glenn. Chapman Valley down a few numbers this afternoon. Of course, Ringo McKenna, one of the favourites for the Clune medal, and also a Clune medalist himself, and we're talking about Kim Schofield, both not out there today, so it does make a little bit of a difference. 2 key players out of the lineup, but Railway certainly are pushing them. The ball on the far side now goes away of Huggins, puts it onto his boot. He sends it into the half-forward area for Railways. Up goes that player to try and take the mark in Tunbridge, but he's curtailed in his efforts by Jaden Schofield, and the ball goes over the line on the Francis Street side of the ground. So it is only 7 minutes gone in this, the third term, the Premiership quarter they call it. Railways holding sway, as Glenn said. The amount of shots is almost the same. Railways doing the better. The ball coming in now. Chapman Valley player quickly gathered up. The umpire says no prior opportunity and he'll ball it up.
So the umpire puts the ball into the air again. Ball slapped to ground. Ball comes the way of the player there in Tubby. Tubby gets it out towards Marwick. Marwick kicks it forward. Ball running free. Goes the way of Jesse Moore. He goes out wide. Finds a teammate there who shoots the ball forward in Shaden Edwards. But the ball is turned over and Chapman Valley can mop up through Kobe Simpson. Kobe goes to his brother Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson plays on, looking for some movement, finds some movement in the centre of the ground, goes away of the player there in Ewan Whiteley. In goes the Railways player, picks it up, shoots on goal, and Jesse Adamini gets a much-needed goal for the Blues, and they continue to assert their authority. And Jesse Adamini gets his first goal of the afternoon, and we see Railways get their sixth goal of the afternoon. And on the scoreboard for Adam Hunter Accountants, it is a good scoreline for Railways. Railways are 6 goals, 1. Chapman Valley in a bit of trouble at 2 goals, 3.
A massive turnover by Chapman Valley there, Glenn, and resulted in a fine goal for Railways. They've asserted their authority here at the recreation ground. Adamini has come back into the lineup. He went out with injury just before the Country Week campaign here in Western Australia and GNFL, but has returned and is in fine form. and has certainly picked up a few possessions here this afternoon. So, Chapman Valley, can they fight back from this at the moment? 6-1 plays 2-3 in favour of the Blues. Ball back in the middle, players setting themselves. Up goes the big ruckman for Chapman Valley, knocks it down to ground, or did he win it? But the Valley work hard to try and get it out of the middle, but it's very tight here this afternoon. No one giving an inch as the umpire retrieves the ball once again. As you expect, pretty heavy underfoot, a lot of rain here earlier today. We had 2 hours of solid rain here in the Midwest. Most rain we've had in a long time here in the Geraldton Midwest region. The ball coming into space now, running onto it is that player there we're talking about Thompson. Thompson sends it further afield, but ricocheted back into space, goes away of Kimberley now. Kimberley in turn gives it to Jager Williams. He comes out and finds Adamini once again.
Adamini plays up the ground, gets it away of Edwards. Edwards has the ball on half forward, kicks it towards full forward. Good mark taken by Elliot Delaney. Under a fair bit of pressure, Delaney still held his mark. So Delaney's been very good this afternoon. He's kicked 2 goals, lining up for another one now. He's 50 metres out from goal, right on the boundary line, kicking to the southern end. So the ball is with the player there who's working hard with the ball in Delaney. There goes Delaney's kick. He kicks it towards the teeth of goals, looking there for a movement. Chapman Valley player was pushed in the back. Free kick will go the way of the Chapman Valley player in Thompson. Feeds it out towards the player there in Simpson. Cody Simpson gets it up towards half back where he finds Paul Sorensen. Sorensen kicks it up towards centre wing. Looking up there for a teammate. Williamson takes a good strong mark under a fair bit of pressure from James Maverick. 10.5 minutes gone in this third term, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. And a very, very good 15-metre pass goes to Tubby. Tubby goes backwards to go forward. Picks out Tunbridge. Tunbridge goes the way of Bunter. Bunter has the ball in the centre of the ground. Blake Bunter looking for some movement up the ground. Comes back across the ground looking for some movement. Looking for Williamson. And Williamson stands his ground and takes a mark.
Williamson on the half-back flank. Playing a defensive role this afternoon. Sends it further afield. Up front it comes now. Trying to run onto it is the player in... Talking about Tubby. A little bit too quick for him on this occasion. 2 players run in front of him and take it over the boundary. So the ball about to be thrown in. Back in attack now it is for Railways. Players setting themselves not far from our broadcast position for Radio Mumma, the home of GNFL football. The ball coming in now. And player Marwick going in to try and soccer it forward, curtailing his efforts. Jesse Moore dives on top of the ball, the veteran himself. Having another fine game here this afternoon. Continues to butter up week in and week out as Jesse Moore. Fisted away in that passage of play. That was Liam Clarkson who did the good work there and goes further afield for Railways now into the half-forward area. Delaney. He's up there with that player in Jaden Schofield. They do a bit of a dance together and the umpire says, give it to me, boys. And we'll throw it up again in the shadows of Railways goals.
So Railways doing the bulk of the attacking in this quarter. Railways have added 2 goals straight. Chapman Valley haven't added to the scoreboard since half-time, and we're in 12 minutes into this third term. So the umpire will throw the ball up again. So Railways in very good situation in a low-scoring contest here at the recreation ground. Ball comes the way of Oakley Criddle. He sees the ball towards the boundary line, and the umpire says throw the ball back in. Railways players were asking for the deliberate, but the umpire said, no, throw the ball back in. So that's exactly what the boundary umpire will do. Boundary umpires and field umpires earning their keep this afternoon. Plenty of ball ups and throw-ins. Another throw-in now goes the way of Bogoni. He slaps the ball forward, goes the way of a Railways player, has the ball held to him. Didn't have any opportunity to get rid of the ball prior to that, so the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. Umpire Darren Bryce puts the ball into the air again. Once again, Bogono takes the ball, kicks it back to whence it came, but Liam Clarkson stands his ground and takes the mark. So Liam Clarkson has the ball on half forward.
Liam Clarkson sends a short ball in and finds the player there in Burrows. A buzz goes around the crowd as Burrows sends it inside the corridor. Comes off a pack of players, but the bounce is kind of for Chapman Valley. As they kick to the outer side and get out of danger. Finds a sanctuary the boundary on the Francis Street side. So the score at the moment, 6-1. That is Railways 37, leading Chapman Valley 2-3-15. 30 minutes gone. 13 minutes, that is, in the third term, thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. So the ball coming in now. Chapman Valley if we're waiting for something to happen, their supporters are looking for it now as the ball comes out of a pack of play, goes the way of Railways now into space. Shaden Edwards shoots again on goal. That was a good kick by Edwards. Under pressure, straight through the middle, and another goal to the Blues.
So Railways continue on their merry way. Railways get their 7th goal of the afternoon on the Adam Hunter accountant scoreboard. So Shaden Edwards now has got 2 goals. Elliot Delaney's got 2. Kurt Tunbridge 1. Zaid Marwick 1. And Jesse Adamini 1. Well, Chapman Valley there 2 goals. Tyron Papertalk has 1. Lee Hutchinson has 1. So the game getting away from Chapman Valley now as Railways make a couple of interchanges as MJ McConnell comes back onto the ground, and so too does Ben Saunders, and also another Railways interchange. So Railways are making the changes or using their rotations. Jamie Huggins comes back onto the ground. So Chapman Valley in a fair bit of trouble here as we head to the middle stages of this 3rd term, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors.
7-1 plays 2-3, as Glenn mentioned. Railways holding sway pretty strongly here this afternoon in the slow-scoring encounter. Heavy underfoot, but handling it the better at their home, the recreation ground. The ball coming the way of Chapman Valley now. Whiteley sends it into, well, outside the centre square. Takes a while for that player to collect it. He's collected in turn. The ball spills free. This player, Hutchins, hasn't been able to play his normal game here this afternoon. Curtailed in his efforts as he is in that passage of play. He's brought to ground and the umpire will throw it up just outside the centre square in the forward area again for Railway. So doing most of the attacking in this particular term. Well and truly are on top here this afternoon. MJ McConnell wins that, goes to ground, but comes off the boot of Criddle. Criddle for the Valley, sends it further afield, but goes away with Railways now. Adamini onto his boot, looking for Edwards. Edwards misses the bounce, goes away with Thompson. Thompson for the Royals. Kicks it up into the air, and luckily enough, it goes the way of that player in Maverick. Maverick puts it into space, well, straight into the pond in the middle of the recreation ground it goes, and Papertalk does the better. He gets it out to space. It's a free kick is going to be awarded, and I think it is going to be awarded the way of Brett Robinson, and he will have a shot on goal. Hasn't done much in this game this afternoon. He's an important player for Chapman Valley's premiership aspirations is Brett Robinson. Of course, he has had a waffle career too, Glenn, hasn't he? So in he comes now, kicking toward the Augusta Street end. It's a much-needed kick for Chapman Valley. That's their 3rd goal of the afternoon. Brett Robinson.
Pressure on. So 7-1, 43, Chapman Valley 3-3, 21. So the ball back in the centre. And once again, we'll see where the ball gets out of the centre. 17 minutes gone in this 3rd quarter, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. And the ball gets thrown up. And this time it's won by MJ McConnell. He slaps the ball forward, goes the way of Robinson. He couldn't control the ball. Ball slips over. Well, the players slip over in pretty slippery conditions. And it's pretty tough out there, as the umpire will come in and throw the ball up once more.
Peter Forenza, Glenn Barnden, and Peter Bucket Keith bringing you all the action from the recreation ground this afternoon in the penultimate round of football in the GNFL. As I say that, the ball goes the way of Jaden Schofield. Kicks a bit of a rainmaker. We don't need them this afternoon. There's enough of it around the place. As he kicks it toward the boundary, Hutchins running onto it, but the boundary comes up all too quickly, and the ball will be thrown in. So Chapman Valley scoring the last score. Will it be the start of a resurgence for the Royals? Railways holding most of the sway here this afternoon. The ball coming in now. Coming out of the middle. Comes off the way of that player in Boyle. He never gives up, does the little general. Puts it inside the forward 50. Running onto it is Edwards, but he can't get purchase of the ball. The player is down on the ground. He's got his head on the ground, slowly pulling himself up. The umpire says the player was caught in possession, though. A free kick will go the way of Chapman Valley. That player gingerly getting up, still off the deck.
Jesse Adamini.
Yeah, the ball going the way of that player in Jaden Schofield. Gets it to Whiteley. Whiteley down the middle of the ground, and the mark is taken by Criddle. Criddle, one of the players that is standing up here this afternoon for Chapman Valley. Sends it down. Colgate. The goal sneak. Hasn't got one today, but he may set one up as he sends it further afield down the line and finds the player there in Tom Walker. So Tom Walker reckons he's in scoring distance as Adamini is getting seen to by the support staff for Railways. See, that will be a blow for the Blues if he is injured. So now, player coming in to kick the ball is Tom Walker. On a reasonable angle at the Augusta Street end. Gee, kicked that not that well. And
Kicked it like a backman, didn't he?
He did kick it like a backman.
The ladies down the veranda.
They loved it, the ladies did. And he missed all in sundry. So the ball coming back in for Railways now. And is with this player in Marwick. Marwick gets it to Williamson. Geordie Williamson kicks it down the line. Is dealt with when he got rid of the ball. So there'll be a 50-metre penalty. That'll come down the line. So the ball's with Shaden Edwards. He's at centre wing in front of the grandstand here this afternoon. Edwards sends it further afield. Through comes Huggins. He had taken the mark before he'd taken it, actually. And it bounces out of his hands and over the line. So we've got an update on Adamini. Has he come off the ground?
No, he was being... The Chapman Valley trainers were out to him first, and eventually Grant Russell did get there, but he's still out there. So, yeah, he's still out there, so all good.
The ball going forward now for Marwick. A nice kick. He's just got great senses, Marwick. And he finds Jesse Moore. Jesse Moore just marked inside the forward 50. He'll be right on that line when he gets onto this. He decides to go laterally. Doesn't know who he was going for on that occasion. He did see a play there in Tunbridge. Tunbridge wasn't ready for it, though. He's got two Chapman Valley players to beat. He tries to bottle it up, so too do they. And a free kick will go the way now of Chapman Valley. So Chapman Valley on the back line now, the half-back line. Starting to have a bit more zest in their game. Go to the wing. Now there it goes, and down that side of the ground. It comes inboard now. Goes away now of that player. And like him, Hutchins, but he needs to up the ante somewhat. Puts it into the half-forward area. The big ruck to Maverick. Maverick can turn to Paper Talk, and another goal to Chapman Valley.
Kane Simpson was in the end of that one, but a good bit of play. So Chapman Valley worked the ball from half back all the way along. One of their better bits of play this afternoon. So Chapman Valley 4-3 and narrowing the margin, and it's 8 scoring shots to 7, and Railways lead by still quite a considerable margin.
Three-quarter time summary. That'll come to you via the expertise of Peter Bucket-Keefe, and he'll be giving us a summary of how things have probably changed a little in the third term, and whether he thinks Chapman Valley have the goods to surpass the team that is on top at the moment. That is Railways. 21 and a half minutes gone in this, the third term. The ball coming out the way now of this player. Thompson, he's up the ante. He's starting to get him a lot more possessions, and he needs to as he kicks it into the... The ball will be thrown in. So, Simpson, he's been lit up somewhat, I should say, and Chapman Valley starting to make a game of this here this afternoon now. Mushy ground underfoot as players try to deal with the player there. He didn't remonstrated with the umpire, and now there'll be a 50-metre penalty.
So the ball goes up the ground and whistle on play, and the player who is running with the ball is not his free kick. In fact, it goes the way of Williamson. So Williamson has the free kick on centre wing and a 50-metre penalty. The umpire says you've got to come back to where I'm standing. So Williamson has to get the ball back, and we start all again. So the ball will go forward. So Williamson with the ball on centre of the ground. So Jordan Williamson with the free kick and a 50-metre penalty sends the ball deep into attack for the Blues. And Railways have kicked the first 3 of this quarter. Chapman Valley kicked the next 2, so it's important that Chapman Valley don't let Railways get the next goal right on the nail of the 3-quarter time siren. Ball coming very close to the boundary line. Railways get it very close to the line, does Burrows. Burrows sees the ball across the boundary line, but the umpire said the ball had slid across the boundary and there'll be another boundary throw-in just on the half-forward line for the Railways Footy Club.
Ball about to come in, as you heard from Mr. Football, Glenn Barnden, Peter Forenza, yours truly, and Peter Bucket Keith bringing you all the action on Drennan O'Malley game day here this afternoon. Goes in the way of Huggins. Huggins loses it now to, or gives the ball up to Tunbridge. Tunbridge in turn to Tubby. Tubby puts it onto his boot. That's a nice kick by Tubby.
What a goal.
That was a sensational goal by the veteran. And right on the siren, Tubby scores the 8th goal of the afternoon for Railways. And at 3-quarter time, it is Railways 8 goals 1. And they are in front of Chapman Valley 4 goals 3. And you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football. What's that?
Oh, he kicked it.
Glenn's a bit stupid.
But the football, GNFL footy on Radio Mama, Glenn Barnon, Peter Fiorenza and Peter Keith keeping across all the action of round 16 for GNFL and the MEDAC this afternoon. And in other games, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton, at 3-quarter time, the game up there at Mullawall. And Brigades 13 goals, 17, 95 lead Mullawall, yet to open their account. In the big game here, our broadcast game, it is Railways doing all the attacking. Railways 8-1-49 lead Chapman Valley 4-3-27 and 22 points the margin in favour of the Blues. looking at the first 3 quarters and looking at our contenders for the Skidders Restaurant Player of the Day. Peter Bucket Keefe, what do you think about that quarter?
Yeah, well, it's the game, as I was just speaking off air, that it probably suits Railways, the older types, a bit solider in the legs and that. And Railway, if it was a dry day, Chapman Valley would probably run them off their feet with a bit of outside run. But better players today, best on ground for me is Animating with 18, Schofield with 16, but Sognia, whatever his name is, Desognia Sausage, Robinson, Criddle, and then you've got Drew Tunbridge, Burrows, Delaney Marwick's a good pickup, and Jordan Williamson.
Okay, the last quarter with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants and the umpires this afternoon doing another good job for the GNL. Umpires Darren Bryce, Dale Pearce and Cody Miguel. The umpire puts the ball into the air. Umpire Miguel, the ball comes to the ground, goes the way of Bo Simpson, whistle on play, and we've seen a free kick go the way of Jesse Adamini. So Jesse Adamini gets the free kick now. So Adamini kicks the ball up towards half forward, finds a teammate all on his own, takes a good mark there, does Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders, the veteran, kicks it up towards the teeth. A goal and a good mark taken by that Railways player, running back with the flight of the ball in Shaden Edwards. He's already kicked a couple this afternoon, has Edwards, and can add to that tally now. So Shaden Edwards lining up for his 3rd goal of the day. So goal scorers to this point, Nathan Tubby kicked the beauty light on the siren, and other with 2, Shaden Edwards, who's lining up for his Marwick and Jesse Adamini. So stretches out, and it is 28 points here at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground.
Shaden Edwards won a perfect build for Aussie Rules football, Glenn. The low 6, early 6-footers, 6-footer or 6 something, and he certainly can run pretty fast and has a nice kick on him, good skills too. So he's having a pretty good day today here for the Blues as he scores his 3rd goal of the afternoon. 9-1 plays 4-3. Thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. All back in the middle now. Glenn has almost shut shop on Chapman Valley this afternoon, but let's see what can happen. Can the Royals fight back? The ball coming out of the middle, though, going the way of this player. That player is Jager Williams. Williams kicks it into the half-forward area, and it's Huggins who collects it. Nice big handball. He gets it to a fellow veteran in the side, Ben Saunders. Saunders in turn to a teammate who puts it onto his boot inside the forward 50, but it's marked in defence strongly for Chapman Valley. So early stage of the final term, Chapman Valley need to get a bit of a spring in their step, so to speak, as they kick it to the outer side. It's been packs all over the ground this afternoon, 50-50 balls everywhere, but Railway's doing the better. In the final analysis, one would think, with 3 quarters gone, they certainly have. The ball on the Francis Street side. MJ McConnell knocks it down. He's been held by his opposite number there, Pagono. Going the way now of Huggins. Huggins onto his boot for the Blues. Sends it into the half-forward area, just outside the forward 50. Marwick tries to run onto it. He's unsuccessful. Chapman Valley do the better through Williamson. He puts it onto his boot, sends it inside the corridor. I've got a couple of players, but Jordan Williamson takes the mark. Jordan Williamson playing an defensive role here this afternoon. Sends it into the half-forward area. The player was dealt with going forward. The whistle does sound. And a free kick will go the way of Railways. So
J. O'Brien. He kicks it up forward, finds the hard-running Paul Sorensen. Sorensen looking for some movement, goes far out wide, looking out there for the hard-running Jay Colgate. Colgate draws the play, gets a handball back to Simpson, Bo Simpson, back to Colgate. Colgate kicks it in towards the forward pocket, looking there for the player there in Paper Talk. Paper Talk throws boot to ball, kicks it high into the air, but the Railways player stands his ground, takes a very good mark under a fair bit of pressure, and stood his ground and played very well.
Sam Scully.
Sam Scully, who's worked well in defence, playing his second game for Railways since returning to town, gets it up the ground, finds Mitchell Boyle. Mitchell Boyle gets the ball from half back to centre wing, where he finds a teammate. That teammate is Jamie Huggins. James Huggins kicks it up towards half forward, where he finds Jesse Moore, who's moving well this afternoon, taking some good grabs. Jesse Moore from half forward kicks it up towards full forward, looking up there for Adamini, but standing his ground again is Kobe Simpson. Kobe Simpson goes through the puddles, comes back the way of Oakley Criddle. Kobe Simpson off half back, kicks it up towards centre wing, looking up there for a teammate, but the player there stands his ground and takes a good mark in Matt Kimberley. Kimberley a short pass and finds Elijah Burrows.
Elijah Burrows just outside the centre square. He's had a few possessions this afternoon as well. He sends it down in front of the ground. Does. Flank. Goes the way of Oakley Criddle. Probably one of Chapman Valley's best this afternoon, but they've been few and far between as the ball goes away now. Of this player in Colgate. Colgate sets a small kick in front of Paper Talk. Paper Talk spins around inside the goal square. He's looking for that player. In Simpson. Simpson does well. Gets around 2 or 3 players.
Got a goal.
And he's kicked a goal. A remarkable goal for Chapman Valley.
Good goal there from young Kane Simpson. He's an exciting player. The Railways player pleading his case, but the goal umpire having nothing of that.
I really thought Paper Talk did well. He put it just into space so he could run onto it. He almost stuffed it up, didn't he, Glenn? But he was clever enough to drag it back in, and the players he was playing on didn't know what way he was going, nor did he, but he finally put it straight through the middle.
Well done, young Kane Simpson. His second goal of the afternoon. So maybe there's a little bit life in the game, but still Chapman Valley need 4 goals from this point, which is pretty hard when you've kicked 5 in 3 quarters. But let's have a look at the scoreboard for GBSC, and it is Railways 9 goals 2, doing the job on Chapman Valley, who are 5 goals 3, so 56 plays 33 on the scoreboard for GBSC.
7 minutes gone in the final term. Chapman Valley, have they left the door ajar? Time will tell. The ball won by Borgona on that occasion, goes away of Marwick. He's been good this afternoon. The ball going the way of Jaden Schofield. For the Valley, he puts it out to centre wing. Valley, a bit of a spring in their step now. Goes away of Oakley Criddle. Back to Schofield. Going the way now of that player in Hutchins. Hutchins now sends it inboard. The ball coming out of the middle. Bounce will be kind to Chapman Valley, but is it? Goes away of Kimberley. He keeps it in his keeping and is finally gathered up by Hutchins. Gee, pretty lucky on that occasion. Hutchins was possibly could have got the free kick there because Kimberley was all at sea, but the umpire throws it up. Hutchins is in it again. Ball coming out of the pack, going the way of this player. He sends it forward and finds the arms of Jaden Schofield. Schofield to Hutchins now. Hutchins into the half-forward area. Colgate, almost a one-handed mark. He was held. The umpire was unsighted. He said it was held to him, but the umpire could see more than most of us. So the ball will be thrown up now. Just inside the centre square. Up they go. It's knocked down by the ruckman for Chapman Valley. Going the way now of this player. It was a good kick by Brett Robinson, and he finds Paul Sorensen. Now, Paul Sorensen is a veteran but a goal sneak. He's kicked a few goals in his time, and he certainly can boot a ball. And he's on a reasonable angle, kicking toward the Shenton Street end. A goal here would really push that door a little wider open for Chapman Valley. Paul Sorensen. The kick's coming around, and it's a good one by Sorensen. No, it's not. Geez, I thought that was through the middle, but on this occasion, it certainly wasn't, and is recorded as a point.
So the point will count as the Railways defender will bring the ball back into play. So Railways have the ball with Williamson. He runs out to the left pocket, takes it along the Francis Street side, kicks it up towards centre wing. Chapman Valley player goes up high, and he's played well this afternoon. Jaden Schofield one of Chapman Valley's better players. So Schofield working hard, trying to keep his side in this contest. Schofield kicks it up towards half forward, looking up there for the player in paper talk. Railways player caught in possession. Umpire said he had no prior opportunity, and the umpire will come and throw the ball up at about 50 metres away from Chapman Valley's attacking zone. So umpire Miguel puts the ball into the air. The big fellas go at it. Railways get the best of it. Ball comes to the ground, goes the way of Marwick. He throws it on his boot, kicks it up towards half centre wing, and a good mark taken by Chapman Valley there in the centre wing position. So Chapman Valley have the ball, kicking it forward up towards full forward. There's the player in Williamson, kicks it forward, but only as far as the Railways player in Jordan Williamson.
Williamson to Williamson.
Yeah, that's right.
And they are cousins too.
Yeah, second cousins, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Ball goes forward, and it goes towards the boundary line. The whistle on play, and player there, Tubby, gets the free kick. Nathan with the free kick on half-back, on the outer side. So Railways hanging on and doing it pretty well. 9 scoring shots to Chapman Valley, 11 scoring shots to Railways, but Railways leading quite considerably on the scoreboard. Ball comes the way of the player there for Railways. It gets the ball up the ground in Zane Marwick. Ball still in play, and the umpire has no option to come in and throw the ball up again. So looking at an updated score, we're about halfway through the game out at Mullawa in the final quarter, and halfway through the last quarter, it's Brigade 16 goals 8, and Mullawa yet to open their account.
11 minutes gone, and this is the final term. Thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants, Railways are doing enough to hold on this afternoon, one would think, as the ball goes away of that Blues player who sends it further afield, going the way of Adamini now. Kicking by the Blues, and they lead Chapman Valley 5 goals for.
Yes, and Elliott has kicked 3 goals for the day, so he's done very well indeed. So he has been a very, very good player for his side this afternoon, and they continue to do very well. So Elliott Delaney's kicked 3, so too has Shaden Edwards, and they have certainly given their side the best opportunity today. So waiting for the ball to be thrown back into play. And the umpire is going to throw the ball up in the centre of the ground. So it's a 5-goal margin in favour of Railways now, going to take the premiership points in this round 16 match for Medak. Ball comes the way of a Railways player. Umpire says the ball was held to him. So the umpire will come and throw the ball up. So Chapman Valley have had a couple of ordinary performances. They lost last week to Northampton by 31 points. They drew with Brigades the week before, and they're going to go down this afternoon. But there's probably conditions would affect you. The fact is that they are sitting in top of the pops at the moment, but can they hang on? Because Northampton will come home pretty strongly next weekend. Interesting games next weekend. They are too. Next weekend, Chapman Valley take on Towns, and Northampton take on Railways. So that game is here, and we'll be here with Radio Mama next weekend. Railways and Northampton should be a very entertaining contest as well.
Bunter sends it into Adamini. Apologies to Bunter. I haven't been calling him as well as I should this afternoon. Mum will get into me. The ball in the middle of the ground goes away now of Railways, who put it through the corridor. And that kick goes away of Boyle, who's been working tirelessly, especially in the second half. Quiet first half, but he certainly made up for it in the second term. The ball coming out of that passage of play, going back the way of Saunders. Saunders, a veteran, was pushed off the ball. He gets a kick away just below the scoreboard, which reads his side 10-2, leading Chapman Valley 5-4. The boundary comes up quick, or does it? Goes away now of Railways, who put it into space, but it's Chapman Valley who should get away with this and get it out of danger, and they do so. And the way this player in Thompson, he's for half-back flank though, but been under pressure. The ball coming down the ground, comes off Kimberley, goes away of a player and starts a push and shove, and that's Sam Skelly. The ball will be thrown up now. Just in front of the grandstand here. It's the recreation ground going the way of Kimberley. Kimberley's quickly brought to ground, almost caught in possession. Going the way of Chapman Valley. The big ruckman gets away to Paper Talk. He's come down to bring the ball forward. Nice mark. It's taken by Colgate. Colgate elects to play on, but player tries to curtail his efforts. So Colgate has the ball now. Jordan Williamson, the player on the mark, influences that passage of play, and Colgate puts the ball out on the full.
So the ball will be brought back into play by Railways. Goes the way of the Railways player there who gets the ball back into play in Drew Tunbridge. Gets it the way of his teammate there and Sam Scully. Sam Scully on half-back, kicks it in towards the centre of the ground. Finds the player in Ben Saunders.
Oh.
Saunders put the ball to ground, caught in possession, and the free kick will go the way now of the player there in Schofield. He gets it up the ground to Oakley Criddle. Criddle gets it up the to Borgono. Borgono, the big ruckman, picks it up well, gets the kick forward, goes the way of Hutchins. Hutchins takes a good mark now, and Hutchins has the ball. Plays on quickly, kicks it in towards centre half forward.
Good work.
Finds Paper Talk. This time it's Lenny, and Lenny Paper Talk is marked, and Lenny is only 25 metres out, kicking towards the southern end.
Passages like that, Glenn, have been few and far between for the Valley today, haven't
They have, for sure. So Lenny Paper Talk, he hasn't kicked a goal this afternoon, so he has an opportunity now to kick his first of the afternoon in his return league game, and he does. So Lenny Paper Talk gets his first of the afternoon, and Chapman Valley get their sixth. And on the GBSC Sports Park, GBSC scoreboard, it is 10 goals 2 plays 6 goals 4, 10-2 plays 6-4. So Railways on their way to get the 4 premiership points, but Chapman Valley fighting the game out as you'd expect them to.
Friends, on Sunday tomorrow from 10, Glenn, we'll be catching up with the opposition leader in Shane Love, who's very keen to put his weight behind getting an emergency helicopter into the Midwest.
Yes, it's an ongoing talking point, isn't it? So it'll be interesting to see what plays out in the lead up to the big state election, which is not far away now.
Yeah, join us tomorrow for fun, for frivolity, and a lot of good music. 10 to 12, Friends, on Sunday, joined by the lovely Princess of Tiltilly Rise, Nicola Defoe. Back in the middle now, players setting themselves. And up goes MJ McConnell. He was second to the ball, but got it off down. He's in front of him. Goes the way of Boyle. Boyle knocks it into space, and there is that player in Burrows. He puts it out in front of another player, lays out. He couldn't take the mark. As the ball comes forward again now for Chapman Valley, and a 50-metre penalty will be paid to that player as he comes down the ground. That is the big ruckman in Borgono. Borgono has toyed away again. Since coming into the lineup, he has certainly played a part in the Chapman Valley game, but today he hasn't had a lot of support around the place as he kicks it into the half-forward area. Players setting themselves over the back. It goes the way of a Chapman Valley player. Gets it out to Paper Talk. Paper Talk is curtailed in his efforts, and, he does well. He's got 2 Railways players to beat. They try and pull it in as well, but the umpire lets it go on and says the player was caught in possession.
Yep.
So
if
that
you try and break a tackle, that's the way
Williamson
it should be.
caught in possession, goes the way of Jaden Schofield, who shoots on goal. And Jaden Schofield almost scored a remarkable goal. It was a nice kick just outside the forward 50 and only recorded as the minor score.
GBSC scoreboard, it's 6-5 Chapman Valley. They trail Railways 10-2 as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Lara Dalton, the member for Geraldton. And Rovers have had a very good quarter out there at Wanthella. And it is Towns 8-9-57 lead Rovers 6-3-39. So in that quarter, Rovers kicked 4 goals 1 and Towns have added 1 goal 4. So a good result there. Rovers coming back hard at Towns, but Towns still in front there at WA Country Builders Stadium.
Not far from a broadcast position. The ball is tossed up, goes away of MJ McConnell, who's probably won the rucking jewels this afternoon. But it comes off a Chapman Valley boot. Down the line it goes. Williamson is there. He can't collect it. Running onto it is Elliot Delaney. Elliot Delaney has about 40. He sends it down the line. He finds his player who's equal to the task, and Reece Moody back into the lineup this week. And there's Borgono. Borgono right in front of our broadcast position. Passage of play is not bad, and for Mark here would be timely, but down goes Paper Talk, and able to take the grab. The ball spills free and eventually finds the boundary. in the full forward area now for Chapman Valley.
So the ball to be thrown back into play. Chapman Valley trying to make the scoreboard look a little bit more attractive as they go towards the final siren here, this final quarter, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. In goes the way of Paper Talk, picked up by the Railways player there in Williamson. He's tackled, thrown to the ground. Umpire will come in and throw the ball up once more. So a good contest here. Railways are going to get the premiership points. When these sides last met, it was a win to Chapman Valley, but Railways have returned the favour in their second clash of the year. Picked up by Giltro. Giltro kicks the ball forward, but only as far as Mitchell Thompson. Mitch Thompson looking for some movement upfield. Goes with a short pass, looking there for Jamie Maverick. Ball slides away from him, goes the way of Elijah Burrows. Elijah Burrows, half back, kicks it up towards centre wing. Looking up there for Moore, but Tommy Walker's given away a free kick with the hands over the shoulders. So free kick goes the way of Jesse Moore, who's had a good game. He plays on, goes back to Burrows. Elijah Burrows on. Schofield. So Schofield has the ball on half back, gets a short pass forward, finds Jay O'Brien. O'Brien plays on with another short pass, but he's been cut off, and it goes the way of the Railways player there in Jager Williams.
Jager Williams too has had a bit of the ball this afternoon. Goes further afield and finds a teammate at centre wing. Railways, as Glenn said, will go out and win this game this afternoon. They lead on the scoreboard 10-2 to 6-5. 20 minutes, nearly 21 minutes gone in the final term. On the Francis Street side, it goes that way and comes off hands and over the boundary. So time ticking away in this penultimate round of football in the GNFL. And Glenn, as you said, we'll be here again next week.
Yes, next weekend is round 17. City in Colour is the round. And Brigades play Rovers at GBSC. Towns host Chapman Valley at WA Country Builders Stadium. And Radio Mama will be here for Drennan O'Malley Motors for the Railways Northampton game, as Railways look to make it 7 in a row. I think this will be their 6th win in succession, and if they win next week, it'll be 7. So a big game for Railways and Northampton next week.
The ball coming into the full forward area now. Hutchins almost took a timely mark, going back the way now of Maverick. Maverick tries to get it back to Hutchins. He does well to try and beat two opponents. He eventually soccers the ball, and it comes out of that passage of play. I thought it was going further forward, but there is the player there for Railways that does well on this occasion in Bunter. Bunter in turn gets it to Tunbridge. Tunbridge to Elijah Burrows, probably one of the best this afternoon for Railways. Sends it further afield, and ditto for this player, the veteran in Jesse Moore. He slaps it down, but he's got 4 Chapman Valley players to beat, and the mark is taken by Criddle. Oakley Criddle, one of his better games too for his side. Well, one of the players that stood up, in fact, this afternoon, one would say. Off the half-back line goes away of Jager Williams, and he finds Sam Skelly. So Sam Skelly, as I said, coming back from Victoria. He's been over there, being in the equine industry, but back here in WA, probably to help out the equine industry out there at Woori, I reckon. So the ball comes out of defence now, and it is Elijah Burrows who takes the mark. So I've liked his game this afternoon, Glenn.
Yeah, he's played really well. Burrows goes out wide and finds a teammate, and that player steadying things down. Plenty of time on Railway's side this afternoon, so he's looking to get the ball, and that's Sam Scully again. Sam goes up towards centre wing, looking there for a teammate. That teammate almost a good mark. Ball comes forward now, picked up by Kimberley. Kimberley gets rid of the ball just the nick of time to the player there in Maverick. Marwick goes the way of Bo Simpson for Chapman Valley. In his second game back, up goes Daniel Borgono, takes a very good, strong mark. Borgono turns around, kicks it up towards half forward, looking for Paper Talk. Paper Talk's got a crew to beat. Ball spills out, goes the way of Scully. Scully gets it up the ground and finds the player there in Elijah Burrows. So Burrows with the ball on half back. Time running out for Chapman Valley. And the Railways are securing their spot in the top 4 and pushing their way up the premiership table with another 4 premiership points this afternoon. And the ball goes out of bounds. There'll be a boundary throw-in on the outer side. So winners this afternoon, Mullawar certainly not going to be the winners up there at Mullawar, because when we last heard it was 16 goals to no score halfway through the final quarter. We'll bring you that score as soon as it comes to hand. Very interesting, the game over at Towns, not so far apart. Towns are 8 goals 9, 57. Rovers are 6-3, 39. There's the siren. Railways are the premiership point winners here in this big round 16 clash today. And the round 16 was for Medak. And we can tell you, full-time score here at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground. Railways have got one back on Chapman Valley. Railways are 10-62, and they've defeated Chapman Valley, who are 6 goals, 5-41. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football.
So the premiership table will just stay the same.
Yeah, it will. Nothing changed.
Sounds good.